Welcome to this month's YouTube upload. Today I had to speak about office space, workspace. This is one of the things that any startup, any business owner, whenever he or she jumps boat, thinks about. So here has been our journey over the past 6 years, and you won't believe it because I had no idea I would be ping-ponging and where I am right now today. So number one, 6 years ago when I jumped boat, I joined a co-working environment. I wanted to keep my overhead costs low. I don't want to spend so much on a monthly basis because I still needed to get the clients on a longer retainer basis. So I started up in a co-working environment. There were pros and there were cons. In our industry, we're very creative, very loud, in a good way, in a productive way, and just need to occupy space. And some of the challenges were you don't have a lot of, seclusion when you do use the open areas. When it's booking board spaces, you always have to look at other companies' timetable. So those were some of the challenges that we faced in the co-working environment. But I loved, the environment. I loved the whole relaxation. I love the whole setup where you can share space with somebody else that does something else that can still complement your line of business. Fast forward, after that, I then was approached for another office space for another client of ours, and we moved there for a bit. That was just for a little while we were servicing some PR services. It lasted for a couple of months because our PR service ended and the amounts just went a bit up and it didn't fit my budget back then. Gave it some bit, operated from home, and then I decided to get very professional. I have my workspace where I have a dedicated receptionist, I have all the facilities, telephone line, you name it, look nice and flossy. So this is a co-working space, but you have more of a private, dedicated setup. Bills went up high, didn't include the parking space, didn't include all the printing, didn't include so much. So the budgeting was an issue for me. Again, by then, within the third year, the amount of cash flow and the amount of expenses just did not level up for me. Then after that, I decided to work from home again. And we all know the coffee shop so well. Hi, can we have a meet and greet? Let's see what your company is about. So I think most of the coffee shops know Poya Media by now. It's part of the journey. And meeting at clients' office setups. So that was us for a good year. Then we landed a long-serving client, which was corporate, and this was saving grace. I swear, the month before full lockdown, we signed this corporate for a 2-year period. So if you were to ask me, how did you manage during COVID? God's grace. I didn't have to worry if the clients were to pay or not because this standing solid client took care of me for 2 years. So on top of that, we had the whole lower level to ourselves. They were busy reshuffling, removing, renovating. So me and my team had a dedicated spot, but it wasn't ours. After a contract came to an end, yep, you guessed it, back to the coffee shops, back at home. And I decided this year I need to level up. The kinds of corporates that we're getting now are long-term. I now have cash flow where I can afford a dedicated space. And to add that, because when clients come to you, they need to see it for themselves that you're making it for yourself, not just for the show, but genuinely you're taking your brand seriously. So I scouted once again. I said, one of my resolutions this year, gonna have a dedicated space, and not only just for the clients, but for my team itself. A team needs to have this healthy environment where they feel, hey, I'm part of Poya Media. It just doesn't look good on social media, but actually it's better than what it is. Because when they come, they have this gorgeous space set up. So that was our journey for over 6 years. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. Moral of the story, you haven't made it yet. You haven't arrived yet. And it's okay to go back to square one as long as you have a strategy to go back to where you desire to be. Office space, not the easiest, but you gotta level up some way, somehow.